I thank HOD Mining Amet University for giving me this opportunity, and I thank all of the attendees, the student attendees, and my colleague faculty attendees for joining the meeting. Now I'll start with the presentation. Okay, so now because of the disturbance, you must have your mind must have shifted a little bit, but I ask you to please come back to the normal this webinar mode, and please be attentive to the things which we are going to discuss. Okay, because this is, I guess, first of a kind of introduction to machine learning. That's why I have kept it very simple for all the students to understand. Suppose there may be second year, third year, fourth year, different students from different backgrounds are also there who may not be familiar with this thing. That's why I am trying to keep this very simple, and just I am trying to let you know what is this about. Okay, so let us see, after you are attending this lecture or this talk, so what we are going to discuss here, and after attending this, what you are going to gain. Okay, what we are going to discuss here, two things we will discuss, and after attending to this, what you are going to gain. Okay, so first we are going to the attendees who are attending this. I am going to introduce them to machine learning. What is machine learning actually? Okay, I am going to introduce them. Okay, then I will make them aware of the working of machine learning, how a machine learning model works, or how machine learning in general works. Okay, and I will tell them about Python language and how it contributes in making difficult problems easy and quick. Okay, there are so many other languages, R, okay, Python, okay, these are the languages on which, like we have studied C, C++, we have studied. These are very classic and complex languages. Okay, but when you come to Python, this is very simple, okay, and adaptive, okay, languages. And this Python language is the main compiler platform in which the codes for machine learning is written. Okay, the second one is R. Okay, but Python is more user friendly, and it is very easy to learn, and coding is very easy there. How it is easy, why it is more user friendly, and why more people are choosing it, we will come to that. Okay, now understand few applications of machine learning in mining engineering. Okay, I will specifically tell about mining engineering, but I will also touch some of the few applications of different other engineering backgrounds also. Okay, now, and I will tell you here what are the criteria. If that is fulfilled, machine learning can be applied easily, whatever it may be the branch of study. Okay, now what are the expected outcomes when you complete this lecture of 1 hour or 45 minutes, whatever it may be? After that, when someone will ask, what is machine learning, buddy? Then you can explain them. Machine learning, you can explain to your juniors, your friends, and what is that? Okay, how a machine learning model works. If someone will ask, you can definitely tell them how a machine learning. And what is the use? You will not learn Python language in this talk, but you will definitely learn the usefulness of Python language. Okay, and you can analyze your respective fields in which machine learning can be possibly applied. Okay, this is a brief thing or a summary of what we are going to discuss in today's talk. Okay, understood, guys? Okay, now this is machine. What is machine learning actually? Machine learning is the science of getting computers to learn and act like humans do. Okay, this is a very simple sentence to understand. There is no complexity here. That means before, when we had now, what is machine learning? If we'll ask what is machine learning the science of getting computers to learn and act like humans do. Okay, like I will give you an example. And another thing I want to ask you, have you people anytime used this machine learning techniques? Please answer me. Have you people, all the students who are attending, have you people anytime used this machine learning techniques in your life? Hello? Please answer. Somebody can answer. If your answer is, huh? Yes or no? If your answer is no, that is a complete mistake you are doing. Okay, if your answer is no, you are doing a complete mistake. Okay, how? Because I will tell you, if you have an email account, okay, if you have an email account, then you have used machine learning. If you have any time used Google Maps, you have used machine learning. If you use a smartphone and you have used it for face unlocking system or your thumb unlocking system, you have used machine learning. Okay, machine learning is around us. Nowadays, every smartphone is enabled with machine learning. Is not, is you are not aware because it is a thing which runs in the background. Now, yes, I was saying about that thing. We are surrounded by machine learning. We are not aware because this runs in the background. Okay, if you have a mail ID, if you use Facebook is the very big applicator of this machine learning and AI techniques. Okay, how this Facebook does this? When you open Facebook, you have lot of recommendations of friends. Have you seen, whenever you get a recommendation of friend, most of 90% of the time, those friends will have a lot of mutual friends. If you don't have any mutual friends, you don't have any common school, common college, common town of living, then definitely Facebook will not recommend those persons to add them as a friend. Okay, here Facebook also utilizes this. Everything. And another thing you must have noticed, it has increased a lot in recent times. What is that? If you search something, suppose I want a sanitizer or a mask in Google, if you search, definitely within that evening or the next day, those ads will pop in your Facebook. How it is done? This is all done because of artificial intelligence. There are no persons who are sitting, okay, what this boy is searching, so that I will make it appear on their Facebook feed. Not like that. Everything is done by machine learning and AI. No persons are involved. Okay. Now, what is actually machine learning? Machine learning is nothing but giving human intelligence to a machine. Machine learning is nothing but giving human intelligence to a machine. Okay. If I see your handwriting, suppose you are my student, I am seeing every day your handwriting. Someday, suppose you have made your junior write your assignment, so I can definitely I can track that it is not written by you. That is human intelligence. Okay. Now, when we equip machines with that human intelligence and let the machine learn by itself, that is known as machine learning. Okay. What happens in machine learning? Actually, it by the help of algorithms improves automatically through experience and by use of data. Okay, as we are from kids to now grown up, we have, when we are kid we used to know only 2-3 words. Now we know millions of words. How? Because a lot of data we have taken it as input. Okay, lot of data we have taken an input and we have learned through the input of data. Similarly, when an ordinary system is there and it will be equipped with artificial intelligence, we have human intelligence. When we give intelligence to machines, that is known as artificial intelligence. Then machine starts learning. Learning means learning things how to. We will in further slides you will get to know about this. Then it predicts, then it improves. Okay, machine learning does something. It is not at the start itself very brilliant at doing that thing. Okay, then it will be fed with more inputs. Okay, then it will improve itself and eventually it will become a more accurate machine. Okay. Okay, what are the applications of machine learning? If we say, then image recognition. Okay, image recognition. I all just now I told you about face unlocking. That is image recognition. Speech recognition. Okay, if you search in Google what is speech recognition, that will give you the idea about speech recognition. Some of the very good AI models which are built, they may not recognize my speech or your speech, but they can recognize very significant persons like Bill Gates, Narendra Modi, Barack Obama, okay, Donald Trump. Okay, if you play audio of that, they can recognize and tell you that this is the speech given by this particular person. Okay, why they don't know why they cannot recognize our speech? Because they are not trained to recognize our speech. If we'll train them on the basis of our speeches, they can also recognize our speeches. Okay, now traffic prediction, product recommendation. This one I am telling you, whenever you open one Amazon website and search earplug or earphone, you will see lot of recommendations. Okay, those are, everything is done by, suppose you see one phone with 12 GB and 2 GB, in the bottom there will be lot of similar recommendations. Those are all done by machine learning and AI. Self-driving cars, email and spam. Whenever you are opening your email, there are 3 sections. One is primary, promotion, okay, like that, and some emails will directly go to spam. Okay, how that is done? Everything is machine learning. Okay. Okay. Now you see, what are the real world applications? Commute estimation, social media recommender system, face unlock system, email intelligence, and plagiarism checking. Plagiarism checking means, suppose when you are giving assignment, you are copying it directly from websites. Okay, if we will use a plagiarism checker model, then if we give your data to there, it can tell us exactly from which source you have copied, how much you have copied, how much you have written by yourself. Okay, and I'm sure that my esteemed faculty colleagues who have joined, they know about this. Okay, now from here, actually, I guess the previous slides which we have discussed, you have understood that. Okay, if you have any doubts regarding those things, you may ask. Otherwise, we will move to the second segment, how machine learning works. Okay, shall I continue with this? Okay, so let us say Let us don't now concentrate on this diagram. Okay, let us say there is a machine. Okay, now forget about this thing too. If you see, when our mother cooks or when we cook, okay, we cook, then whether the rice is done or not, rice is done or it is still raw, how do we differentiate among this? If we cook the rice for the first time, then definitely we will don't know. After cooking it for 30 times, 40 times, 50 times, 100 times, what will know? We will be completely trained. We will be completely trained just by squeezing one rice. We can say that whether this entire thing is done or not. Because after in the first time we are not trained, we are learning. Second time we are learning. Third time we are learning. Then when after doing 100 times we will be completely trained. Okay, so in machine learning, so every time we are cooking rice, we are just gathering data. Okay, now see, in machine learning there are actually three things: training, now testing, and evaluation. Okay, and this training is done by giving lots of data as input. Okay, then testing is done by taking some of the data from here, and just like we in your semester 3-4 months you are getting trained, then test is conducted or not. Similarly, test will be conducted. Then evaluation. How this is done, we will see in further slides. Okay, but the gist of how machine learning work is, one machine will be trained by using lot of data as inputs. Okay, we will when we will see applications, you will definitely understand. Okay, don't worry about it. Lot of data as inputs. Okay, then what we will do, suppose we have 100 data set, 100 element data set, we use 60 for training the machine. Okay, the machine will be trained. Then we will use 40 for test. The machine is trained. Suppose I will say a vehicle, a mechanical vehicle is there. How much emission it is producing? Emission it is producing can be known from how, what are the factors? First factor, engine capacity, engine make, means which year. Older machines tend to pollute a lot. Then we will see our per kilometer mileage. Okay, all these things will give us, or what is the stroke of the engine. Okay, 4-stroke, 2-stroke, like that. So many things are there which will give us a output, that will emission quantity. Okay, so this output depends on all these inputs or not. This output depends on all these inputs. So all these inputs will be given to the model for training it, where the model will also be provided with the output. After that, in the testing stage, in the training stage, the output will also be given to the model. In the testing stage, what will be done? Only the inputs will be given, output will not be given, but the model will predict the output. Okay. Same thing. So for doing that, we need a lot of data, 100, 200, 300. The more data you have, the better the machine will be trained. The more data you have, the better the machine will be trained. Okay. So first stage of doing that, gathering data and preparing the data. What is preparing data? I will show you when I will show you Python and the applications. Okay. Choosing a model. There are so many models. Okay. Support vector machine. Okay. Regression model. Okay. K nearest neighbor model. Okay. Decision tree model. Okay. Artificial neural network. So many models. Okay. Logistic regression. So many are there. Okay, which model we have to do? Then training, we have gathered data. Suppose 100 data we have gathered, 60 we will use for training, 40 we will use for testing. Okay, this 60 data is given for training. Then this 40 will be given for testing and evaluation. Okay, now suppose we are not getting our desired output, then we will do hyperparameter tuning. What is those things? This is a little bit deeper concepts. Okay, when you study further, you will know hyperparameter. This model will be having some parameters. Okay, like what is the random state, it has to work. Okay, so many things are there. Okay, in ANN, how many hidden layers should be there? Okay, there are so many things. Okay, which is a little bit deeper. Now, as we are discussing about the introduction of machine learning, so we are not going to go inside that. Okay, but why hyperparameter tuning is done, I am telling you. If you are not getting your desired output, then we will do hyperparameter tuning to change the model in such a way that it will give us the desired outputs. Okay. Now, how machine learning works, everybody understood? Then we'll move to the next slide. Have everybody understood how machine learning works? Now, I already told you that Python language is the most useful and used language for writing machine learning code. Okay, it is a high level general purpose programming language. It is most common language where machine learning codes are written. It constantly worked on because it is constantly evolving and several libraries are there. What are those libraries? We will discuss in the next slide. Okay, several libraries are there, and plus libraries are constantly updated and added. Okay, a library is a collection of pre-combined codes that can be used iteratively to reduce the time required to code. Okay, if you don't understand all these things, don't worry, we will see this directly, how, what is the library, how it helps us. Okay, Python could be written on several compilers. Anaconda Notebook is the most popular one, which is free of cost. You can download and install. Okay, Anaconda Notebook. If you write in net, you can download and install. Okay. Let us see what are the these are the libraries generally used for engineering applications. Scikit-learn, all the machine learning models like SBR, logistic regression, ANN, I told you. NumPy is mathematical analysis library. TensorFlow, it is used by Google Maps and everything use this. Keras and TensorFlow combinedly used for artificial neural network. Pandas is data analysis, data preparation and data cleaning. Okay, Matplotlib and Seaborn are both are visualization libraries. Okay, those are for plotting graphs, okay, plotting different types, so many varieties of graphs are there. Okay, so let us see how Python makes life easy. Okay, here we have to, I will just give you one example. Correlation. You must be knowing about Pearson's correlation. Students?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Aditya College students, no, I'm not asking you because in Amet University, is there any course related to geostatistics? Please answer, students. Hello? Any geostatistics course where you are studying correlation, ranks correlation, Pearson correlation, basics of statistics?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is a, then I will tell you, whatever I am writing, is it visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now you see, correlation is nothing but two things will be there. Okay. Suppose I will say you the number of hours you study and marks you score is related or not?
Related.
Okay. That means suppose if we'll plot a graph, suppose if we'll plot a graph here, here if we'll write number of hours study and here we will write marks. Okay. As your number of hours of study will increase, your marks will also increase or not? Yes or no? Now we can call this as positively correlated. Okay. This marks you score in an exam and number of hours you studying, those are positively correlated. And if I'll see number of hours you watch TV, number of hours you watch TV and marks. If you watch TV less, your marks will be more. Yes or no? If you watch TV less, your marks will be more. And watch TV more, your marks will be less. Yes or no? Here you are watching TV less, marks is more. Then watching a little bit more, marks reduced. Little bit more, marks even reduced. You are watching 10 hours TV per day, marks will be very, very low. Yes or no? Then this is what? One quantity is increasing, another quantity is decreasing. That is negatively correlated. Understood? That is the general concept of correlation. Correlation studies and measures the direction and intensity. Direction means either positively or negatively. That is the direction. Intensity means how strongly, whether it is very strongly, how many times you are eating per day and you are scoring marks. How many times you are eating and scoring marks. Are those related? Definitely related. Okay. But not that much strongly. But not that much strongly. Definitely related, but not that much strongly. But how many hours you are studying and your marks, those are definitely related, but very strongly. Okay, so this intensity is either weak or strong. Okay, now I will give you one example here. Number of years a farmer has attended school, means someone has not attended school at all, someone has studied up to 2 class, someone has studied up to 4 class, 6 class, 8 class, 10 class, 12 class. Understood? And they have the same size of land, same size of land. How much they are earning per year? Okay, those who have not gone to school, they are earning 4,000 rupees per acre. Who have went to school, they are earning 8, 7, 10, 10. Like this, some information is there. How to establish a correlation among these two? This is a different set of information. This is a different set of information. How to know whether these are correlated and how to establish a correlation? That is this R. One number will come which will be between 1, -1 to 1. When you calculate correlation, one number will come which will be between -1 to 1. Here 0 will come, here -1, 1. Number will come which will be between -1 to 1. Okay. Now to calculate this, what we have to do, you see. This is the formula. First x bar, y bar. Suppose we will take this as x and this as y. We have to calculate x bar, y bar. X bar, y bar means mean. Mean means we have to add all this and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then mean will come. Here y bar. Similarly, that will come. Then what we have to do? 0 minus x bar, whatever will come, into 4 minus y bar, whatever will come, will multiply. Then we will add plus 2 minus x bar, 4 minus y bar, then we will plus. This is the only one segment. Then you see what is there. Again x minus x bar square plus x 2 minus x bar square plus 4 minus. How much difficult it is? Can you imagine? Just to calculate the data in which only 7 entries are there. Only 7 entries. How much difficult it is. But in Python, it will be very, very easy. Just I will show you. Okay. Just 1 second, you wait. You check. I will show you directly live. Okay, how this is becoming so much easy and convenient for you. Just you saw that how much calculations, how many calculations we have to do to just finding out a correlation among only 2 variables. Only 2 variables, that to only 7 entries. If there are 100 entries, 200 entries, then what you will do? If there are suppose lakhs of entries, then what you will do? Okay, that's why I will tell you about this. My screen is visible all? No problem with this? Is my screen visible?
Visible, sir.
Okay. Now I have told you there are few of the libraries you see here: Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Seaborn. I told you that I am going to show you what are these libraries. In Pandas library, what you can do, you can import data from Excel. This data is in Excel. Okay, you can import it and you can use it. Okay, for so many different purposes. Okay, which we cannot study now because this is only introduction class. If we'll go there, it takes a lot of time. You have to understand the basics of Python first. Okay, but just I am going to show you how this is very, very useful. Now we have there only numbers of years of going to school and earning, only 2 characters. But here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and output is only 1, WQI. Now if you want to establish relation between PH and WQI, we have to take mean, then X minus first this one minus the mean, this one minus the mean. Again we have to take WQI mean, DO, CL. For each individual items we have to do once. Okay, we have to do lot of calculations. But if you see in the Python code, see, if we want to calculate the relation between PH and WQI, within 1 line of code, within 1 second, we got the relation. If we want the entire data set correlation, if we want to calculate the entire, what is the correlation of pH between WQI, pH between DO, pH CL, pH CA, everything will come within seconds by 1 line of code only. With the entire data set with how many variables? There only 1 variable, 1 output was there. Here total 12 variables, 11 variables, 1 output. Entire thing will come within second. Okay, that now I had told you about strongly correlated, weakly correlated, positively correlated, negatively correlated. Okay, I will show you directly in example. Do you know what is WQI, water quality index? You know that? Do you know what is WQI? Water quality index, which depends on all these things. And more things also. Okay, but this is a sample of mine water which we have collected from different coal mines, and we have calculated this. We have determined pH, DO, CL, CA, everything. Then from that we have calculated our WQI, which is very, very basic thing to do. Okay, but establishing the correlation and determining which of these characters were more responsible for the worst quality of water. Okay, in your water so many things are there na. So to know which of the elements is responsible for bad quality, which of the elements is responsible for good quality, this correlation is established. Okay, if you see, I told you I will tell you about strong and weak correlation. Okay, now if you see, your WQI is the water quality index from which we determine whether the water is good, bad, worst, or even more drinkable, not suitable for drinking, like that. So many categories are there. Okay, now if you see, I told you there are 2 ranges, -1, +1. Now if you see, this DO is negative and 0.9. That means it is very, very strongly correlated and negatively correlated. Strongly and negatively correlated. When DO will increase, then WQI will decrease, because dissolved oxygen is a desirable thing in drinking water. Okay, now if you see, pH is very weakly correlated, because whatever samples we have collected, they were not acidic in nature. Okay, now if you see, TDS is strongly correlated. See, the value which will go towards 0.9, towards -1 or +1, those are strongly correlated. If they go towards +1, that means they are positively strongly correlated. If they go towards -1, then they are negatively strongly correlated. If they tends to go towards 0, see, this is 0.44 only. Okay, this is 0.52 only. That means they are not that much strongly correlated. which is this iron 0.99, this is most strongly correlated and positively. Okay, then this TH, then this magnesium and DO. Okay, my intention was not to teach you water quality index, but my intention was to show you how Python makes life easy. This calculation, just having 2 columns, takes you about half an hour. There 11, 12 columns are there. Similarly, hundreds of inputs will be there. Then also it will take only minutes or seconds. Okay? Understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this is machine learning applications in mining. Okay. In other, how many of you are from different other departments? Okay, no problem. I will tell you. While I will show you these things, I will tell you. Suppose risk, one application is risk rating analysis. Risk rating analysis. Okay. Risk rating analysis is mining, nothing but what you will do, you will take different risk rating analysis for each type of hazard which is present in mines. There are 3 things: consequences, exposure, and probability. When you know, suppose we have a roof fall hazard, we know its consequence, exposure, and probability. What is the consequence? If this will happen, what are the consequences? If this will happen, how many persons will be exposed to this? If what is the probability of this to happen? That is probability. If these 3 things, there are factors given 3, 4, 8, like that. We have to multiply 8 into 4 into 3, 8 into 4, 32 into 3, 96. Okay. Then according to this, we will give a rating, whether highly risky or moderate or low. Okay. Suppose you have only 10 data. You can easily calculate. You multiply everything and tell what are highly risky, moderate, and low. But here, when you are calculating this, you are only considering these 3 factors. These things you are not considering. And in mining, not only roof fall, side fall, gas explosion, this explosion, that there are so many other things by which accident can occur and person can be subjected to fatality. But those are not that much common that we discuss or we know about them. Okay. So in one, this thing, how you can do that? Okay. I mean, how you can predict that using your machine learning. Okay, this one actually I have done and it is communicated. Maybe in near future it will be published in a journal. Okay, I will show you something. Here I have told you one thing about preparation of data. Here I will show you what is preparation of data. Now I had a data set of 250 or 220 like that entries. Okay, in that hazard entry, these are the only indexing 1, 2, 3. What is the type of hazard? Electrical hazard. Okay, so many times are there. Okay, consequence, exposure, probability. Okay, there are so many types of hazards. Okay, BCH, BH, these are just short forms. Here, electrical machine. Okay, then your chain conveyor related hazard. Okay, so many mine heavy machinery related hazard, rooftop hazard, every type of hazard which has occurred in a mines throughout 10-15 years we have collected. Okay, now those hazards are like GCH, MMH, like that. Those risk ratings are there and risk classification was there. Preparing data means a machine will not understand this type of data. Machine understands only this data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Machine doesn't understand data ECH, what is ECH, what is MFH. So what we have to do, suppose entry number 1 BCH ECH. Now entry number 1 was what? Hazard type is ECH. So if you see in entry number 1, consequence 1, exposure 2, probability 3, risk rating, BCH is 0. Whether entry number 1 is this category? No, 0, 0. Which one is entry number 1 comes under ECH or not? This ECH. That's why here it will come 1. Before, when we collected data, our data has this type of entries. Now we converted that into 1, 0, 1, 0 numerical entries, which will be very, very easy to be understood by the machine. That is nothing but data preparation. We gather data. Sometimes you gather data which will be having no format at all. Okay, but we have to make it in an appropriate format which can be given input to a machine. That is known as data preparation. I just told you one simple example. There are so many other examples of data preparation. Okay. Now I will tell you. Now, sorry. Here, so many things are there. Okay. Here, these are all inputs. Hazard, consequence, exposure, probability, risk rating, risk. Only this risk classification is output. In machine learning, what we do? We feed these inputs so that the model can be trained and it will predict the output. Okay. Now you see there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these are inputs. Okay. We separated the inputs. See, these are the inputs. And this risk classification is only the output. Okay. Then what we will do? We will split it. Split it. See, I told you hyperparameter tuning. This is test size, random state. We will make it low or high depending on our desired output. Test size is means whatever data we have given, 15% of it will be used for testing and 85% of it will be used for training. Okay. So just everything will be written by code. You don't have to write anything. Okay. Then now consequence is another quantity. Exposure is another quantity. Type of hazard is another quantity. But we have to make it in a standard fit so that everything can be related to another thing. For that, we are doing this processing. Okay. After that, these are the things. Then I have done this k nearest neighbor. Okay. How these are done, you cannot understand now. You have to go through this thing. But I will tell you how the machine predicted and how I have displayed it or visualized it. Okay. These blue color ones are predicted values and the red ones are actual values. If the machine has predicted correctly, then those both will coincide. You see blue, red, that means actual value and machine prediction is same. But you see here the first one, actual value is high, but the machine predicted medium. Here these two data, actual value is low, machine predicted medium. Okay, but if you see only 1, 2, 3 aspects the machine predicted wrongly, but rest of the aspects machine predicted rightly. That means we can say the accuracy of this machine is more than 90%. Likewise, several here if you see this machine has predicted very badly. The accuracy is almost towards 50%. Okay. So these are the things. Okay. Now PPV prediction. You know PPV means what? Huh? PPV means what, guys? Students. What do you mean by this PPV? Peak particle velocity. Someone mic is on, please turn it off. If you have any questions, then you can unmute and ask. Okay. PPV prediction means peak particle velocity. When we are, this is nothing but measurement or measurand of ground vibration. Okay, when we are doing blasting, how much ground vibration is there, we are doing. Either you can do it by using a seismograph like BlastMate, Minimate, like that. Okay, BlastMate, Minimate, like that, which is very, very costly, and whether it is giving the right result or not, we are not aware about that. Otherwise, there are two things: charge per hole, the blast holes, how much weight of charge you are giving, and from which. Suppose here blasting is happening, you are measuring vibration here, okay, at this point. So this distance also matter. Okay, monitoring distance. If these two things are there, and site constant, on what type of rock you are doing the blasting. If those are there, by using this formula also you can use. This is PPV, K, B, these are the site constants. Q max is charge per load, how much weight of explosives you are putting in one explosive column. And distance, how much, from what distance you are measuring. Okay, suppose you have PPV data, you charge per hole, monitoring distance. Suppose you have 100, 200, 300. How many calculations you have to do? CMRI. This is a different formula, this is a different formula. If you see for Vietnam, Indonesia, another formula. For US, ISBM. Okay, that is another formula. So many formulas are there. But if we only know this charge per hole and monitoring, we can use machine learning to predict PPV. Where the basis is not formulas, the basis is artificial intelligence. Okay, similarly, gross calorific value prediction. This is the formula which is proposed by Simper. Moisture content as constant, fixed carbon content. You have to calculate. Then you have to use this formula to calculate. But if we know only these values, you don't need this formula for predicting it by your machine learning. Similarly, fly rock prediction. Fly rock prediction, you understand that this thing. Fly rock, what do you mean by fly rock? That prediction also can be done. Rock size distribution, when we are doing blasting, fragments are getting produced. Okay, what is the different sizes of fragments which are produced? That can be done. Equipment scheduling can be done. Strata monitoring can be done. Strata monitoring is done, but continuous evaluation. Strata monitoring, continuous evaluation can also be done in this machine learning. Now we have a few of the people here Any mechanical people are there? Any mechanical people? Or no matter if mechanical or not, it doesn't matter. Sorry, I will show you few things. No. Reviewing persons. Sorry, I'm not getting. I had one mechanical related analysis which I have done. So I wanted to show you. Okay, here you see. See here, can you see this thing? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Now here, when we are going to purchase a second-hand car, okay, you are going to purchase a second-hand car, you are fulfilling your requirements and everything, then a price is getting shown to you. That is nothing but artificial intelligence. Here we are thinking, what is the make? Means who is the manufacturer? Audi, Alfa Romeo, like that. What is the fuel type? Gas or petrol or diesel? Number of doors, whether it is convertible, drive wheel, right wheel drive, four wheel drive, forward wheel drive. Okay. Engine location, front or back. What is the wheelbase? What is the engine size? Fuel system, bore, stroke, compression ratio, horsepower. Everything will be deciding factor of this only one thing, that is price. Yes or no? This everything will decide what will be the price, whether it will be high or low. So if we tomorrow you come to me with all the specification and I have to predict the price, how can I do that? Only how can the websites are doing that? Okay, they are using this machine learning. But to make you understand in a deeper way, you have to learn Python language, you have to learn the basics of machine learning, you have to have some basics of statistics. Okay, mean, median, mode, correlations, then you have to have the normal distribution, binomial distribution, exponential distribution. Okay, those things you have to learn. After that only you can come to here. I have shown you correlation. Okay, here I have shown you correlation, very easy, just one line of code. Okay, but what is the background story of it? Why you are calculating? Okay, if you don't know, then how you will apply this to the you in your research or in your work? Okay, so this is a very good branch of science which can be applied to enhance, improve our engineering studies. And the most important thing is you don't have to spend 1 rupee to learn this. Everything is free and you can access it from the web, internet itself. Everything, if you want to learn Python language, everything is free. Don't have to do anything. Okay, if you want to learn machine learning, everything is free. The compiler which I have shown you here, Jupyter Notebook, this is free. Don't have to do anything. Just go to Google and search Anaconda Python. Directly it will come. You see, download. Like that, if you search, directly it will come. Then lot of resources are available, which are all free of cost. So if you are really interested, you can learn this in a very less time and you can master it, then you can apply it. Okay. Now second thing is I told you I will give you a idea on which you can see that where it can be done. Machine learning can be applied on a basic condition. What is your condition? In which several inputs and output will be there. Means 2-3 inputs which is producing one output, or there may be more than one output also. In those conditions only you can apply machine learning. And the input, I told you, I showed you few of the things which are numerical inputs. You can, for artificial neural network, all those type of things, you can also give images as input. You can also give video as input. You can also give handwriting as input. You can also give speeches and input. Okay, so many things. Okay. With this, I am ending my lecture here. I hope in the first slide, whatever outcomes we have expected, you can do. If someone will ask now what is machine learning, I am definitely sure you can answer it. How machine learning model works, I am definitely sure. Train, test, evaluate. Train, test, evaluate. Just 3 things. Usefulness of Python language, I have shown you the correlation problem which may take half an hour to solve. In 1 second it was, and fields of application of machine learning. Okay, I hope these expected outcomes are met. Okay. And with that, I will now allow the floor. If you have any questions, any students, you can ask.
Thank you, Satyajit sir. Actually, people are in our university, Python is one of the core courses. It is a compulsory course actually.
Okay.
Python is a compulsory course, and also they we give a value-added specialized course for Python programming and MATLAB practices with Stack actually, right? And people are aware. Only thing is, guys, you should correlate it how the Python programming is used as a machine language actually.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Extremely simplified version Satyajit ji has given. Please, you can ask questions. Floor is open. Or you're all very hungry.
For that problem, our session has been extended. Sorry for that, actually.
It's okay, sir. Any questions, please? Sir, you can stop presenting it, sir, actually, if you do.
Okay.
Any question from anybody, both from Guru has sent some message. What is that, sir? Okay. There is a form which he has sent, it, Google form. Please fill it up, actually. Right? Okay. Good. Anything else? Any question? Guru, you don't have any question, Guru?
Sir, actually, if the students have already learned Python programming, now I recommend to learn, for them to learn about the libraries which are used for machine learning. Like I have shown few of the libraries, SciPy, Pandas, NumPy, Seaborn, Matplotlib, those libraries they should start learning from Pandas.
Okay.
Panda, then NumPy, then SciPy, then so many are there. Then Keras, TensorFlow, those things. Those libraries, if they learn, they can apply. Because Python language is not only used for machine learning. There are so many other applications, but machine learning people use Python as a primary source. That is it.
Okay. Anyway, I sincerely thanks Parida Saab, because it's a wonderful session, because there are a few things whenever you hear, and I know the machine languages, but there is a new kind of explanation which he has explained in a very simple manner. Was really wonderful actually, and I sincerely appreciate him for explaining things. I believe many of our students will be very fascinated to take out the projects in that, especially the second and third year boys. You should start cultivating the learning of machine language. Maybe you may be taking some serious projects on IoT, serious project on machine language oriented artificial intelligence work, right? And in India, seven mining companies have ordered robotics. Only Singareni has got robotics now for using, they use for the mining. The continuous miner in Singareni coalfields is used by robot only. But 6 more companies like Coal India Limited, one in Jharia Raniganj, another in somewhere in Western coalfields, they have purchased it. All these things are yet to be implemented because of this corona. Everything is in stake actually.
Yes,
the
sir.
concerned Australian company has to come and implement it with a demonstration. That's the reason it is all hanging. So I believe a lot of interest should come both from Aditya Engineering College and Ahmed University, and you can even take up a joint projects, right, and
Yes,
take
sir.
it forward. Actually, I will sincerely suggest we may even form a small club called Machine Language Club for Mining. So
Yes,
that
yes.
small mini projects can be done by both our students. So that will also help us for them to get recognition in this.
Yes.
Okay, mind it, sir. You can get a good job in mining, but the job which you are going to get if we are learning all these things in the consultancy will have much more value.
Much more value. Yes.
Yes, a guy who is joining the mining industry will reach 1.5 2 lakhs in about 7-8 years. Whereas if he is a consultant in TCS, he will reach 2 lakhs in 5 years and 5 lakhs in 10 years actually. That is the way
Yes,
they
sir.
will increase your salaries actually. And you can become a vice president in 15 years or 12 years actually.
Yes, a
So that is
few
a
of
very,
our seniors and juniors, they have moved to Canada, and they were just similar to us or our other peers, but they had pursued this machine learning from a very early stage of their career. Now they are very well placed, and not only that, after serving in mining related machine learning field, some of them has migrated to the mainstream, like somebody is working in Walmart, someone is working in Google, like that they have migrated.